What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a very, very, very special episode of From Screen to Shelf, featuring your residential Chucky expert and super fanatic. I am extremely excited. As of the time that this video drops, we should be getting Chucky Season 3, Part 2, Episode 1. And I am over the moon. I will go ahead and get it out of my system. I am a huge, huge, huge fan of the Chucky TV series. Doing one of these, I already kind of had this in mind, but it was pretty loosely recommended by the community that knows I'm big fans of the Child's Play series, Chucky series, the TV show, everything about him. I'm a massive fan. Usually, I'd be repping the Chucky hoodie, but I did recently we did tease it on the podcast, but recently got my Northman shirt, or hoodie, so I got to be repping that today. So no Chucky hoodie, but we have Chucky surrounded everywhere today. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be talking about everything Child's Play 1, 2, 3, Bride, Seed, Cult, Curse, and the remake. And I'm going to be ranking them. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to go S, A, B, C, and D. There's no F's, so I just went ahead and took the F off of this. I don't know who made this tier. I did not make this one. I don't think I can shout anybody out. It was a template made by somebody back in 2020. I wish I could give them credit, but it was already on Tier Maker there for me to use. I did not make this, so credit goes out to the person that did make it. So let's me burst at the seams to talk about everything Child's Play 1. So, Child's Play 1 is a very, very, very great entry into the series. Of course, without the first one, we wouldn't have any of the rest. So, I always get over the moon about talking about this one. It's a little bit more of a claustrophobic setting with the apartment building and everything. It has some iconic shots, like with the lightning on the building and everything like that. Like whenever Brad Dourif's character is embedded into the Chucky doll, and everything about it. It's just great. It really sets the foundation that Don Mancini really, really wanted to set up for Chucky going forward. And it's really, really, really good for what it tries to encapsulate. It has a lot of really good iconic moments, like with Chucky's burnt face and everything like that. The I wouldn't really call it the puppeteering of Chucky in this was really good, especially for the time. And it just really got better as the series evolved, I feel like. So I really do like this. We get Andy Barclay's character, everything like that. He's one of my favorite horror characters ever. Of course, he doesn't have a lot of character development, so we get into the later installments. But it's really, really cool that he is started in the very first one. He's been a mainstay in the entire series since then. So I am going to place Child's Play 1 at a firm B. And I feel like that's very, very fair. The only problem is with the next one that we get into, there's just so much going on that is so good. You have Child's Play 2 still featuring Andy Barclay's character, and then his I forget exactly what she is exactly, and I just called myself an expert slash fanatic. She returns later in the series, but I'm pretty sure it's his babysitter, or it could have been his cousin in this series. She really is only in this one, and then shows up later in the TV show. So whenever it comes to that, sorry for doing that on the mic. So this one has so many great and iconic shots, like the part where, he's in like the study and everything like that, and he starts going at the teacher with a ruler. That one's really, really cool, really, really iconic. But there's just something very immensely rewarding about the aspect of whenever Chucky goes in later into the factory and everything's being burnt, and they realize in the very, very first one that you couldn't take out Chucky with just the fire and everything else like that. They pretty much try to like smelt him down the best that they could, or whatever the proper term is for like taking rubber plastic. And then it's peak in the practical effects area in every single avenue whenever it comes to the way that that was shot, the way that it was done, the production value on that. Child's Play 2 is just it's the epitome of taking a great original and just absolutely lambasting it forward. And I think that's really what we get. It's one of my personal favorite original to sequel developments. It goes crazy in every single avenue, every single way. The puppeteering was better, the acting was better, the plot was better, the kills were better, the practical effects were better. They had more budget, they had more to play with. Everything about this one is just so much better in every single way. That's why I feel like it is, for the most part, a lot of people's, like, highly acclaimed to that degree. A lot of Chucky fans out there are really gonna probably consider 2. It's personally not my favorite one. It's definitely up there, but a lot of people would probably consider that, um their absolute favorite, and it definitely is warranted. The kills are great, everything like that. I'm pretty sure this is the one also. I always forget what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like a soccer ball pump where he takes the needle, puts it in the base of it, puts it in the pinhole, but he like stabs somebody with it and pumps the air in them. I'm pretty sure that's this one. So without further ado, S. Of course. Where else would it go? It's S, right? Everything about that is just great. It's phenomenal. It's just it's really, really, really up there as just the pinnacle of the series. And I really do think, which I'll go into more detail about later, that it just really gets built on and it lays a lot of foundation for a lot of the lore that we end up getting later on. Now, for what people consider to be the worst one and just a bad movie in general, I feel like, based on word of mouth, I don't feel like Child's Play 3 is a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. The best way that I have been able to describe this movie is the acting and some of the sets up until the end, whenever you have like the thrones and stuff like that, with like the paintball scene and everything like that, and then it going wrong. The best way is to describe Child's Play 3 is a over the top made for TV movie with a lot of production value. The the acting is very stiff, almost made for TV-ish, everything like that. The script is there's just some really good parts, like in the storage units and stuff like that. Whenever like they're interact one of the kids is interacting with Chucky, I find that pretty endearing. That was really, really fun. With Chucky talking to him and then like playing like the pivotal role that we end up seeing a lot more built off of with that type of ideology in the TV series later on. Um, there's a lot of really good things. Like you have the not the trash compactor, but the garbage truck scene with the compactor on the back, where Chucky screams and then switch places. The guy goes back there to look, and then he ends up crushing him. It's great. You know, the setup for the paintball scene, everything like that. It's just really, really good. But I don't think it's the worst in a lot of the avenues. I definitely don't, and I don't even like saying like it's the worst even Chucky movie because it's still good, right? It's still a really fun time, which is why I'm going to easily put that at a C. I think it sits very comfortably there at a C. It definitely probably would be bottom of the barrel, but it's still a really good fun time. I just kind of walked away wanting every time I watch it, I walk away wanting a little bit more. They did replace the original actor for Andy in this one with a different actor. I don't think the actor really popped off. I don't even know why I can't remember the actor's name. I'm usually better at remembering actors' name than characters' names. But Child's Play 3 is going to sit very firmly there at a C. Now, this one, I absolutely love and adore this one. Just get that out of my system. Bride of Chucky took what felt like a stagnant, because a lot of the times, a lot of things will fizzle out, right? And around this time, one bad entry, not all the time, right? Because we've seen some series that last way past one bad entry. But in this one, Child's Play 3 performed really poorly in every single way, critically, commercially, box office wise, everything like that. Bride of Chucky took what felt like had stagnated after just one mediocre or okay-ish entry and just really rejuvenated the series. It is the Bride of Frankenstein to the original trilogy of Child's Play movies, which makes sense. Bride of Chucky, you know, and my analogy there is the original Frankenstein's a masterpiece, but the Bride of Frankenstein is just as good. It's a great movie. It's phenomenal in every single way. It introduces a lot of different tropes, especially you have Jennifer Tilly in this one reprising her role or taking up her role as Chucky's girlfriend, and then really just trying to do everything that she can to like still stay around his presence, aura, and everything like that. And she plays a very pivotal role in every single movie right after that. So I had a lot of fun with this one. It is my most rewatched one. It is my favorite Chucky movie, I will say that, and I absolutely adore every single thing about Bride of Chucky. It's great. The bathtub scene with Chucky, her putting him underneath the thing, and really that sense of power dynamic between the two of them is made extremely well. And Jennifer Tilly really really kind of hones in on that more campy aspect while still staying grounded in reality for the character that she's trying to portray. And she absolutely slays the role. She kills it. This is much more Jennifer Tilly's movie than it really is Chucky. And I will kind of stand on that. Chucky is a proponent to Jennifer Tilly's character in here, which is why I like to use the Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein is the main draw. That's what you're there to see. Who is the Bride of Frankenstein? That's what you're going in for here. Who is the Bride of Chucky? Everything. And even the names play off each other, of course. So it's a really, really great time. If you haven't seen, I feel like this is probably a lot of other people's really like much favored one, but just everything about it, the Bonnie and Clyde dynamic, but really giving Bonnie a real, real throne to sit on and really, really shine through is just absolutely phenomenal. And a great disc by Scream Factory. Not going to go into detail about the 4K discs, even though we're a physical channel for the most part, or somewhat. So, I did a ranking on that as well, which if I can, I'll put the little thing on the bottom for you to click on that and watch that afterwards. But I did rank all of these since we now officially have all of these on 4K. I did make a ranking, not like this, but just kind of review and rank them and stuff like that over on the channel about a week ago now at this point, maybe a little bit longer. But Bride of Chucky is one of my personal favorite horror movies, and it is my favorite Chucky movie. I will put that right there. And you know what? I'll even swap them like that, just so we can kind of have a sense of order for that one right there. So, not Bride of Frankenstein, Bride of Chucky, phenomenal movie, great even, respectable in every single way. Took a huge jump, really amped up the comedy level of everything, and really solidified itself in the genre as a mainstay. And I dare even say king of horror comedy. I will defend that. Let's go in the comments. I'll defend that. I've seen a lot of horror. Unless you want to throw a good recommendation, and my basis for this longevity, how has it maintained with the times? How has it evolved? How has it stayed fresh and relevant? If Chucky's done all of that, and we'll go down the pipeline here in a second. Next, we've got Seed of Chucky, which I know some people honestly rank this down there with Child's Play 3. Some people really don't like this. I really do think that this movie was kind of ahead of its time with the social commentary, the gender commentary, everything about it. I really do think that it was really much so ahead of its time for what it was trying to convey and what it was trying to do. And I really, and I'm not trying to manifest or put emotions on people that may not exist, but I really do think that maybe it was a bit misunderstood at its time, and it's a lot more easily digestible with the social ecosystem that we have today. I feel like this movie is more relevant now for a lot of people to be able to digest than it was, 20 years ago or so, 20 minus years ago. So, Seed of Chucky, you get introduced, first one or Bride of Chucky gave us, the couple. Now you have introduced the kid dynamic. This one definitely is one of the most meta ones out of all of them. You have like Jennifer Tilly playing actual Jennifer Tilly and not just her character in this one. And it's just great, And then you have a Red Man in here. You have so many great moments. And then you have Glenn slash Glenda struggling with the way that I align with each other. You even have like the great bits where it's like Linda has the Made in Japan stamp on his, I believe it's on their wrist and stuff like that. And, they think they're like this, kung fu ninja and stuff. It's just super cute, super endearing, and then you have the more psycho homages. It's an awesome movie. It really, 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 really is an awesome movie. I really do think that that one kinda gets a little bit of a bad reputation. Again, I do think it's just like Child's Play 3. This one even more so is getting like a second wind for a lot of people. It's a lot more easily digestible. I feel like it's easier to understand. But, I mean, you have freaking John Waters have a death scene in this movie with acid, and how can that not elevate it enough? John Waters in a Chucky movie. Really can't go wrong with that in any way, shape, or form at all, right? So, that movie right there, I absolutely adore it as well. I've never had a problem with it. I've always found all of the Chucky movies fun, but I think I'm gonna put it right. See, even seeing these right here in B, I could easily put both of them at an A. Um, I just I don't know. If I move Seed up there, I'd probably have to put Child's Play because I like Child's Play 1 a little bit more than Seed of Chucky. The rewatchability is a little bit better, But the Seed of Chucky's rewatchability is on a different layer of everything because it's the comedy aspect, it's the social commentary, it's a lot that's being digested in there, the family dynamic between all of them. It's great. So sorry about that, guys. Welcome back. So now we will be going on about um Curse of Chucky. That is one that I I absolutely adore. I think it's I definitely think it falls more in the middle ground for a lot of people. They think it's okay at best. But the thing about Curse of Chucky is, again, it brought in a new era, just like all the other ones had tried to experiment with a lot of other things as well. This one experimented with really being one of the most purest forms of horror that we have seen for Chucky. And then you also get Fiona Dorff as Nika for the first time, Bradley Dorff's actual real life daughter, who's the voice of Chucky, without being said. She becomes a mainstay and a staple in the series from this point onwards. She's very prevalent in the show, everything like that. Nika is a real force of nature. She just like Chucky absolutely obliterated this woman's life, just did absolutely everything to lambast it. The horror elements of it, it's very claustrophobic. It's a lot lower budget than we really have seen from a lot of the other Chucky movies, especially as the budget was getting rather big, quote unquote, for the child's play movies as time went on. So it was a lot of fun. I really do enjoy that one. So much so to the point where I really do think I'd put it at an A. I really do. There's just so many things, the atmosphere about it. Like Chucky is probably the scariest in this one than he's ever been in any of them because he always has this quirky, goofy, comical side that unless you're afraid of dolls, you really don't have a reason to be afraid of him. You know what I mean? He's always just had this comical aspect to him. I really do like this one. It's one of the ones whenever I rewatch the series from front to back, it's probably the one other than Bride, and really I would always enjoy looking forward to watching all of them, but it really is the one that I look forward to the most, probably outside of, again, of Bride, to rewatching because I always feel like I take something different away from it because I wasn't a fan of this. I'm pretty sure I bought the original Blu-ray way back when, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it, right? It felt weird, it felt corny, but I find it so endearing. And that's why like I know I get a lot of flack when I say this in there, but I feel like a lot of Chucky fans would agree that there's so much lore that gets built on because you do have Don Mancini and he's been the most consistent writer on the series. I think except one. He might have been a co-writer, but he's pretty much single-handedly written all of these. And the lore that he established got a bit wonky. And whenever you dive into the TV series, a lot of everything on the back end starts making sense. And I feel like Curse falls in that category. And then our next entry, Cult of Chucky, especially falls in that category. This movie made absolutely no and zero minus 1 cents to me whenever I watched it. I liked it. I found it was fun, but I found it was so different, which in the special features, even on the Blu-ray way back, they talk about that. They wanted it to feel different. They knew that they were going for a much more pure horror. They wanted to bring it back to Chucky's roots with it being more of a horror comedy. So instead of it being a dark claustrophobic area, you're still in a claustrophobic-esque-ish area, but it's a lot brighter. Probably one of, if not the brightest areas that we've really gotten in all of Chucky ever. It takes place in a mental institute after the what is I'm thinking of the after effects of Curse, and it's I really don't want to explain like what the cult means if you haven't seen it, but I've already been talking enough spoilers, so I guess I would just say skip ahead for about 60 seconds if you haven't seen Cult. But it explains so much about like how Chucky has never truly died, or it doesn't really explain so much, but it kind of gives you a little bit of a window into that because Chucky can possess multiple things. You have the return of Andy's character in this one, which is great. He has the severed Chucky head in a safe in a vault in his house that he just toys around with, talks with, and it gives you kind of this window of him having an obsession with his past and like the trauma that he's endured throughout all of this time and all of these movies and what he's gone through to be where he's at today and how maybe he somewhat doesn't want to get over it because he's got the freaking Chucky head right there. And so even though he's got the original Chucky head in that wall, you still have other Chuckies going around doing their things, which essentially gets us to the point where like his soul can split off, and it's really cool. It's a really cool idea. It explains a lot about how in that aspect, it makes Chucky honestly a little bit more terrifying because if you're on his shit list, you're never inevitably never escaping that shit list ever. So Colt has a lot of cool ideas in it. My biggest personal problem with that one really is I just didn't really care much for the supporting cast. A lot of the impatience there and stuff like that just really didn't care for what they do, how they do it, and everything like that. But you know, Nika, Fiona Dourif, she just absolutely kills her role. The trauma that she carries is shown in every syllable, every breath, every scene that she's in. And I just think that she absolutely kills the role. So I think I'm going to comfortably put Cult right here in B. It definitely makes a lot more sense. And again, any of these Bs, I honestly probably could put. I gotta have some variety. I could put all of these in B and A, and even Child's Play 3 in B. I really do enjoy these movies so much. Now this next one, I'm gonna probably catch a little bit of flack for this, but I recently did do a review for it. But I am a big fan of Child's Play 2019. Mark Hamill kills it. The idea, it's different. I'm one of the few people. So, like, let me explain this. And I probably need to make a whole video for this because recently, believe it or not, I haven't been on a huge Chucky bender as much as I'm excited for season 3, part 2. I've been going on a huge Robocop bender. And recently, Robocop did get like the 4K announcement. And so I've been going in there talking about the remake. I'm like the only person excited about it. And it just always reminds me how much people just despised remakes from this time period. And this one fell in that same boat when it was announced either around the end of December to the turn of the year in January. A lot of people just really did not care for this movie, but I feel a lot of people, even Stephen King said that he really liked the movie as well, which take that and run however far you want with it. But I feel like that's really good props for somebody to say that kind of stuff. I know I'm a big fan of it. I know there's other people that probably find it okay at worst, but I feel like it did a lot of things differently enough to warrant a remake. This isn't a movie where you could have just made another Child's Play movie, right? It had to have been set in its own universe. And I mean, you can even make the argument, we'll just make Megan, but the ideas still kind of align in the Chucky universe with what it kind of wants to do. It wanted to reinvigorate it because, you know, some people aren't going to find dolls really scary or anything like that. But also at the same exact time, whenever it comes to Child's Play 2019, you know, AI, that is a thing, especially now more than ever, 5 years after the release of this movie. A lot of people are really gonna be like, "Damn, AI." It's kind of a really if you really sit down and think about it, I'm not saying that I'm like a tinfoil hat person, but if you really think about the wrong and the evil that can happen in the wrong hands, like in the opening scene of this, there's a lot of mayhem that could happen with good artificial intelligence with the wrong person that knows the right stuff to do. You're really the wrong person that knows the wrong stuff to do. So, Child's Play 2019 really, really carries that and really goes into it. A lot of people really like joke around about the look, and I think the corny, weird look, the unfriendly and unsettling, almost uncanny valley-ish look of him, I think is the whole point, right? He's supposed to be a little bit unsettling. You know, it's children that are obsessed with it. I believe there's even a dialogue with like Aubrey Plaza's character, like saying, "What is this weird looking thing?" and stuff like that. Like it all plays. It's a very coherent movie. And then, of course, you have the infamous line that I just absolutely adore so much, where it's like, "This is for Tupac," and then you know he goes in on somebody. It's good. It's not as comical as the other entries, and there definitely are some slower bits. I do like the main character in this one. I think he's really cool. There's just some parts in it that really, 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 just really, really shine. So yeah, I think I'm comfortably gonna put Child's Play 2019. I'm gonna do that, and I really think because I literally, as I keep talking, I think I really got to put that. But I would do a rewatch of Curse before I did the original Child's Play. So I think this is a pretty fair order, and I'll even sequentially. I would probably rewatch 2019 before Seed, and I'd probably watch Seed before Cult. I think that's very fair. I think that this could be a pretty solid ranking of how I view them as they go. And again, like it being at a B, that's still like an 8 out of 10 in my eyes. You know what I mean? This is still a 7 out of 10. I'm a very positive person with my ratings. I find the fun in things. I rate things for what they do, not for what they don't do. So I had a lot of fun with these ones. So I think if you wanted to take this literally, I think I'd feel pretty comfortable ranking them this way. It'd go Bride, 2, Curse, OG. And these two would just sit right next to each other because I think they're just good in their own rights every single way. Then Seed, Cult, and then that. And I don't even think it's really fair to call that my second to last favorite because there's so much good going on in Cult that sets up so much. Genuinely, I really do believe that Cult of Chucky, out of every single movie on here, is the most important movie out of all of them outside of Bride of Chucky, because there's so much that happens in Cult of Chucky that literally sets up season one and a good majority of season two of the TV show. Cult is really that important. Without that movie, we wouldn't have a lot of the lore that's in the TV show so far. The idea of multiple Chuckies and everything like that is just it's great. And then, just to throw it out there, if I were to put the show anywhere, it'd definitely be right here, in A, and it would be sitting first. I love the show. It's got some absolutely insanely good highs, and it has very few lows. It's a very well-made show, and I genuinely do think it'd be probably the best horror TV show. Not I'm not trying to say like True Detective. I know like that's horror-ish and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say generalized, just horror TV show. But a major IP turned TV show, I would stand by that this is one of, if not the best horror TV shows that we have out. That's why I'm so excited and why I wanted to do this ranking. So, without further ado, guys, I'm going to feel pretty confident with what I put out here. So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And then after this, it was recommended to me to do like breakdowns and analysis of each episode that comes out and then review the episodes. So, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. So, stay tuned the day after this drops. I'm going to try and get to it, but I'm going to try to do some more episode by episode analysis, maybe even give you some thoughts. Maybe even check out the teaser trailers or something like that. Do something because I know there's a lot of Chucky fans out there like me. Absolutely adore the show, which will be airing on Peacock the day after, I believe on Thursday, after it airs on SYFY this coming Wednesday, April 10th. So stay tuned for more great content from Screen to Shelf. This is Chase, aka your Chucky fanatic, signing out. See you guys next video. Thank you.